And they probably don't care if you forgive them or not. When you forgive somebody, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing yourself a favor. You set yourself free. Let me tell you a quick story. And God gave me the grace to do this, but it's probably the single most powerful thing God has ever allowed me to do. And probably has opened more doors for us to be able to help other people than any other thing. My father sexually abused me for about 15 years on a regular basis. My mother knew what he was doing, but she was afraid of him, and she wouldn't do anything about it. And so that's the way I grew up. I grew up in fear. That's all I ever remember is fear. And I had a lot of problems in my soul. And God calls me to do this. Well, obviously, somewhere along the line, before I get to this point, I got to change. And it was hard. It was hard to learn to be submissive to a man. It was hard to learn how to love my parents. And love is not a feeling. It's how you treat people. So I'm going to do a fast forward on this, but my parents lived about a couple 100 miles from us, and that just suited me fine. I didn't see them very often. And we'd go and stay as long as we had to on Christmas and send a little money every once in a while. And I thought I was doing my good deed doing that. And I prayed the forgiveness prayer that I didn't want nothing to do with them. And that's understandable. And so now they're getting older. They're both sick. The area where they live doesn't have good doctors, not good health care. I'm praying one morning. Oh, God, what do you use me, God, use me. Oh, yeah, are you sure you really want God to use you? Well, you just go right ahead and you pray and ask God to use you, and then see if you're ready to really let him use you when he tells you what he wants you to do. Boy, you're going to have such a much better church. I'm telling you what. If we can get anybody to listen this morning, this place is going to be set on fire. You quit coming to church to get something. Come here to give something. And I'm not talking about the offering thing wherever it's at. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, that's a given. You should give to support the church because you can't run things like this without money. They don't let me on TV free. They don't even give me a preacher's discount. Amen? And everybody claps when I say I'm on TV all over the world. Well, try to pay those bills. But God takes care of it. Amen? I'm proud to tell you that we don't owe anybody anything. Amen? We're not behind. We're not in debt. And it's all to the glory of God. Amen? But when I talk about coming here to give, don't come and just get with your little groupies. Look for somebody that's by themselves. Look for somebody that's hurting. Come sit with us. Find a single mom that never has the money to take her kids out to lunch, and give her $50 and tell her to take her kids out to lunch. Come on. I don't know what's going to happen if we don't start loving one another. Oh, the world is in such a mess. It's in such a horrible mess. And I don't know what the whole answer is, but I do know that if we start loving each other, it's going to make the world sit up and take notice. Well, anyway, I'm praying one morning, God, what you will. And it came to my heart that we were to bring my parents to St. Louis, buy them a nice little house, put them in it, and take care of them until they died. I rebuked that. I did. I said, I rebuke that. That's the devil. God would not ask me to do that. I didn't believe it was God. I thought it was the devil trying to deceive me. I said, God would not ask me to do that. They never did anything for me. God said, you're breathing, aren't you? God's not always easy on you. They gave you life. You're here, aren't you? And I just went on about my business and forgot all about that. And a couple of months later, I was praying again. Oh, God, use me. He told me the same thing again. I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ask Dave. Dave's not going to want to buy them a house. And I went and told Dave. He said, well, that's what God said. We better do it. And I thought, come on. So I thought, okay, we're going to buy him a cheap house. God said, no, you're going to buy him a nice house. They had to have a car. They didn't have a decent car. Well, man, we moved them to St. Louis. We put them in this cute little house and made sure the grass was cut every week, made sure they got groceries, made sure they went to, we didn't do it all, but we had to pay somebody to do it a lot of times because we traveled so much and were gone a lot. So we made sure they were well taken care of. Okay. Then they get sicker, so they go into assisted living care. On top of my mom and dad, I've got my widowed aunt, who I promised my uncle I'd take care of. So now we got 3 people. And I got a brother who was in the Vietnam War and got hooked on drugs over there. And he couldn't take care of himself, so we were just taking care of all these people. And I didn't